Well, good morning, everyone. We are here for a day of giving thanks, and part of giving thanks is thank you to Deputy, oh my goodness, Sherry Lewis for joining us. She's right here. And we are going to be having a wonderful day, all day, giving thanks to a team, giving thanks mostly to our lives for realtor safety. And she's going to be sharing some really important tips with us because, guys, realtor safety is a big thing. And it's something that we take for granted each and every day. So I think it's a very important day of all days to talk about this. So I wanted to share a little bit about, I'm going to share my screen here. And I want to share a movie. Let me see. Let's play this. Oh, is it going to work well? Oh, there it goes. Admit. Here, where's my movie? Okay. Take a look at this. This is a little bit chilling. This is from the National Associations of Realtors, and it is Predators, which is true, the true nature of crimes against realtors. And I hope it's going to play. It keeps. Here we go. I just wanted, it's a kind of a chilling one to start the day with. But we need to see this because it's real. Is it play? Did everybody see that?
No.
No? Oh, hold on. You know, you can hear. Hold on. Let me do this.
That sounds ominous.
It is ominous. Hold on. Time out. Let's just do this. Share my screen in a different way. Here. Can you see this one? Okay, here we go. And let's back it up. Got to see ominous from the beginning. Cheer.
Thank you.
Member safety is a matter of your life or your death.
I never in my wildest dreams thought I'd be in a situation where I would have a 9mm held to my head.
Who would think a camera phone?
It was a day like any other, when James, with 35 years experience, set out to meet a blind lead at a vacant property. Something he had done countless times before.
I was actually with my wife on the way to an appointment. I had never met this person, and she was sitting on the front porch waiting for me, and I just told my wife to wait in the car. We walked through the living room, the dining room, and the kitchen. I've been in this property a number of times, and it just seemed odd to me that all the doors were. I went to grab the bedroom door, and out came a masked gunman holding a 9mm to my head. He was all dressed in black like a ninja. He had a hoodie on, sunglasses, face mask, black gloves, black everything. Within a couple seconds, another guy dressed the same held a 9mm up against the side of my head. I had my hands up in the air, and he said, "Get down to the floor." So I took his gun, and he hit me in the back of the head. I would fall to my knees. Blood was flowing in my eyes. They're asking me where the money is, and I told them I didn't have any, so they rifled my pockets and pulled my pants down and socks and shoes off, and they wound up making away with my wedding ring, my wallet, and my iPhone. They came back to me and said, "Give us 10 minutes or we're coming back here to kill you. These guys are out there, and if they attack me, more than likely they're going to be going after somebody else." This was a predatory assault. They didn't just randomly pick me, they stalked me.
Jim Olson was surveilled and targeted based on his job as collecting rents as a property manager. They knew what day to lure him into the property that was vacant so he could be robbed at gunpoint. Studies have shown that agent male victims were attacked 30% of the time. And we know with Jim Olsen, and he's a big burly man, infantry soldier, never was in fear that something could happen, and he was a victim of a violent robbery. And now, listen to his story, he changes the way he does business. He arrives at a home much earlier than the appointment time and does a circumference of the house to see if there's anything out of place or if there's any broken windows or forced entry.
Kitty Wallace, a managing broker with almost 20 years experience, has faced off with numerous predators.
One of my most recent experiences was from a gentleman who wanted to see a home. I have a practice that I have them meet me at the office for the first time. This particular gentleman didn't want to meet me at the office, so that did put a red flag up for me.
Working in a rural area with limited cell phone reception, Kitty remained steadfast in her safety protocols, but the caller had a plan of his own.
He was very insistent, and it was, can you meet me there in an hour? And I said, no, unfortunately, I can schedule an appointment with you. We can down and see what your needs are. No, I want to see this house. He said, okay, then meet me in 2 hours. He just like I'm more. And when he would eat and call my office, he would bring out saying that, that's my job. I need to meet him here. What is my seller going to do when he finds out I won't show him this property, etc. And I just didn't let myself get bullied. I really stood my ground and didn't meet with him at all. I've always kind of just accepted it's part of the job, and that's really not okay. So I reported it to my local association, and they sent an email blast to all the agents. 2 other agents reached out to me, and they had also been approached by this gentleman. Maybe I prevented something bad happening, not only to myself, but maybe somebody else as well. I do believe that the intent of some clients is not to buy a house. The intent is to see what they could do. If
Jim and Kitty's harrowing stories display the 2 types of predatory motives: profit and power and control.
There is a misconception that crimes against agents are random opportunistic street crime, and in fact, they're of predatory nature. And by understanding predatory behavior and learning that you can remove weakness, subservience, and vulnerability out of your daily practice, you'll be able to keep yourself safe.
I think realtor safety is one of the most important things that any realtor can learn about.
The goal of the Realtor Safety Program is to reduce the number of incidents in our industry. So this week, come home to your family every night. You deserve it and they deserve it.
I think having these protocols in place is definitely the key to saving my life. 99.9% of the time, our job is amazing. It's that 0.01% that's not with my life.
That's a different side of realtor safety, right, guys? So with that, I'd like to give it over to our wonderful deputies here to talk to us about some real world stuff. So I'm going to stop that. Hold on. And we're going to go ahead and I'm going to put it at speaker view here. And oh, why is it not showing speaker view? Okay.
All right, I'm gonna start out by saying good morning.
Morning.
A group of people, that guys look really nice for it to be so early this morning. But thank you for also inviting me to come out and have this opportunity to speak with you guys. With the sheriff's office, we love any good opportunity like this to come out and just promote being safe while out in the community. Because this is what we do know. We know that we're living in desperate times, right? We are. People are doing desperate things. Everything has gone up from rent. I say from rent to right. You know, you go from rent to your grocery store, everything has just gone up. The rent is off the hook with in terms of you can't really get a place now under $1,500, and that could be a 1-bedroom in most cases. You can't even go in the grocery store and buy a bag of rice under $2 or $3. So I say from rent to rice, things have gone up, which causes people to do desperate things. Let me introduce myself. So my name is Deputy Sherry Lewis, and I've been with the Orange County Sheriff's Office for approximately 21 years. I've been in law enforcement my entire life because I went from law enforcement to doing this job to working from the jail to doing probation. So law enforcement is all I know. I would say that it's like my calling, like how you guys knew it was your calling to be in your profession. And I think that's an awesome thing when you do what you love. So I love what I do. I am a police officer through and through. Not that I do everything right, but I just do love this profession because it gives me an opportunity like this. And to also I've always been that first responder type thing. If I see somebody falling get hurt, I am going to be jumping towards helping them. But to get more on track to talk to you guys about your safety, I love the video. Thank you so much for presenting that video to them. So it gives us, that was a perfect segue to talk about why I'm here. So I guess you guys must have felt like you needed this type of training in your profession. Is that correct?
Yes.
Correct, okay. So I do have some talking points that I do want to talk to you guys about when you're going into these homes. I heard the gentleman was saying that, how are you guys feeling? Are you guys, for the most part, when you're screening your clientele? I wrote a keynote down that he says you guys want to go home. So as a first responder myself, that is one of our key phrases. I don't care what you have to do, but make sure you go home to your family. So you guys have to think in your mind, I want to go home versus selling a home. With your clientele, if you get that feeling that something is not right, if they're saying, okay, if they're really persistent, like how the one gentleman was in the video that was just shown to us, that, no, I just have to see this home today. They want to skip past some of the protocols that you guys have. That should be a red flag. So don't ignore the red flags to make a sale. You got to ask yourself, what is it worth? Is it worth my health, my safety versus selling a home? If they're showing red flags, if you get that feeling that something is just not right, trust your instinct. And that's what I go around telling most people, trust your instincts. If your instincts is saying something is not right, then guess what? Something is not right. So let's talk about when you guys walk into a home to sell a home. You guys have that choice that if something doesn't feel right, or you walk into that place and you think somebody is there, somebody has been there, you can always what? You can back out. You can back out. And I know sometimes you feel like, you know what, I got my keys in my hand, I got my phone, I'm not afraid. If somebody's in here, I'll make them leave. Well, I don't think it's just that easy. I think that if you have your phone and your keys in your hand, that's not enough to protect you. Yeah, it can get you to dial 911, but if you're really super nervous and you have a phone in your hand, you're going to be bumming and fumbling with that. And keys, I've never heard anybody get attacked by keys. And I've been doing this job for a long time, so. But I would say that if you feel like you're walking into a situation, always have that option in your mind to walk out, to just back out. Also, it would behoove you to please get as much information about that client as possible. Yep. You guys know how to probe. You know how to probe. Just get in there. So what have you been doing for the last 5 years? What have you been doing for the last year? Well, tell me a little bit about you. You know, you got to learn. You guys probably already know how to do that, but just really put emphasis on getting as much background information as you possibly can. Not to mention, there are some websites that you guys have public knowledge that you can run a background check on someone. Do that. And also use your buddy system. Here as a police officer, we always use our buddy system. When we go to certain types of calls, we're not allowed to go to certain types of calls by ourselves. We ask, a lot of times you guys say, well, why is there so many of you? Because sometimes that's what's required. I talked about your whereabouts being known. So sometimes it won't hurt for you to tell a coworker, listen, I'm going to show this property today. I kind of have a weird feeling about this potential buyer. would you mind just checking up on me in 10, 15, 20 minutes? It shouldn't take that much longer. You guys know how to estimate a time frame for seeing a house. Give yourself maybe a 30 minute, 40, depending on the size of the house, how much you need to really try to present this property, 35, 40 an hour. If you guys have not touched bases with a coworker within that time frame, then check on me, call and check on me. We have dispatchers. So, and within a certain amount of time, if we don't check in and they're calling us by our call sign and we don't say we're 10-4, they're sending somebody to come see where we are and if we're okay. You guys can create the same type of system, with just not with all of you, but tag up with someone, just a partner, someone like that. Am I going too fast?
Nope.
Does anybody have any questions, any concerns so far? So far, none? All right, anything that we want to expand on? Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I get this question a lot. Yes,
Okay.
broker everybody comes with me the crazy, but also good questions. So
Mhm.
here's a question that I don't know the answer. You'll know because it's probably more of a legal question.
Okay.
People ask me if I have a concealed carry, do I have to disclose that? Who do I have to disclose that with?
Oh, to the police, not to your potential buyer. You don't have to let them know that.
So if someone has a concealed carry, they're allowed to use it on a showing or wherever they are.
Now,
They
see, that is
Okay,
a
that's the
good
question. Okay.
That is a good question. If you're in a situation where you feel like your life is in danger or your life is being threatened, then by all means, you do what you have to do to protect yourself. I always say, protect yourself first, explain later.
So the question is, can you take your concealed weapon with you on a showing? So if a buyer wants to see a property, you vet the buyer, but there's something that's kind of like,
Don't feel good.
Yeah,
Feel
but
right.
You don't know them,
I'm-
never
I'm-
met them.
yeah, I'm gonna go and carry my piece. Of course concealed, but I'm licensed to carry. Is that legal?
If you're licensed to carry, it is legal. If you're licensed to carry, that's the key word. You have to have. As long as it's put away.
Now, I am
and
gonna
you can't wear
say,
it like a holster.
I do not know that it's in our policy and procedures manual, so I don't know per the brokerage if we have any specific rules on that.
Yes.
To be honest, I will need to check with Budge and Christine because I do not believe it's in our policy and procedure manual. Did you read it in there? Because I didn't, but
I was gonna ask, only thing that I saw in that policy and procedure manual, I was just so excited to get a big binder. But if we have an open house, if we have an open house, we do have to, we don't have to say that we have a concealed carry permit, but we have to say that there's security measures taking place during this open house. That's what you have to at least say that. You don't have to say what that is or anything else. You have to say there are security measures in place at this open house.
does that make sense to
Yeah,
you in
I would
terms of for the
always say
police?
Refer back to what your policy
Okay,
is going to protect you with.
but in terms of the police,
In terms of the police, we just have to have knowledge that you do have a weapon on you, on your person or your vehicle, and that you are licensed to carry that weapon.
okay,
That's what we're gonna ask. And if you have to call us, I'm so sorry. If you have to call us and you have that weapon on you, you make sure you tell that dispatcher there. That's information that dispatcher has to know before we come on that call. And don't be surprised if you see more than 3 of us coming
Yeah.
together.
and what about pepper spray or?
I'm not that familiar with the technicalities of the pepper spray because most people, I have that with a lot of college kids,
Mhm.
but when it comes to realtors, I feel the pepper spray is only gonna give you enough time to
Right.
get away,
Well,
go in your car, get to a
They
place of
sell
safety.
things like that and like jewelry and things at the realtor
With a little
shows.
t-shirt, yeah.
So that you can spray and run.
Right.
That's kind of the concept. So is that allowable as well? There's nothing against the law here
There's
in the state of
nothing against
Florida?
the pepper- No, nothing, because the ones that are illegal, which means a certain percentage of the chemical that's in it.
Right.
They're only for law enforcement. So the ones that you have, it will distract them for a little bit and you can run for shelter.
Right.
Run to, you can get to your phone or in your car. But the ones that we have is a little bit more stronger and it will kind of.
And same thing's true about those, the guns, the stun guns.
tasers.
Same thing,
Same
they're
thing.
legal as well.
Please refer to what your policy.
Right, but
says
in terms of,
regards to that.
for the state of Florida.
No, the state of, you guys know, just make sure that we are aware, because sometimes those tasers can look like a real gun
Mhm.
And if you get a police officer pulling up on you and we don't know who you are, we think you may be the bad guy.
Yeah.
Because the bad guy can be dressed up in boots and heels too,
Yeah.
right?
Well, at the realtor shows, they make them look like cell phones and things like
Yes.
that. So that's why I'm just bringing it up. We just had the National Association of Realtors. They had lots of really cool things like that. Did you see that booth? They have lots of neat things like that, which are great. Some things they look like jewelry and things,
Yeah,
but it's really just enough to make you be able to run.
right.
That's the concept.
Right. So I would always suggest trying to get to safety. But this is my thing about that. If you have to do all of that, should you even be there?
No, exactly.
Is it worth it? If you have to do all of that, if you are walking
Mm-hmm.
into a situation where, first of all, you are a little bit apprehensive, we should stop right there. We shouldn't even go any further. If the doubt or the apprehension has set in, number one, stop right there and say, you know what? Something about this is not making me feel comfortable. So if you are feeling uncomfortable, why proceed? Call a coworker, back up and get another game plan. And that's what we do. When we walk into a situation where we know it's more than what we thought it was gonna be, we back out and regroup and come up with another game plan. So there's nothing wrong with you coming up with another game plan, okay? The other thing I want to talk about, just like how they lured that one of your realtors on your video
Yeah.
into that particular situation, they do that all the time. They already know what they're planning on doing. So they already have an advantage over you. They already have an advantage over you. They know where sometimes where the light switches are or whatever, because they just do. Criminals sit down and they most oftentimes plan their attacks. So that kind of gives them an edge. So you should have a plan as well. And tell yourself that, like, this is a great start. This is a great start for you guys to put some tools in your toolbox so that you can know what to do if you do run into a situation where you feel uncomfortable. Okay? Did you have a question earlier?
I did. I just, my question was, if someone is just doing something in the new area, is it okay if they just kind of call and let the duty sergeant know that they're gonna be doing an open house?
Absolutely. I have it on my list.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
Absolutely. That was my next thing that I was gonna check. That if you guys are going to be in an area, and let's just say the area alone doesn't, seem quite right to you. You may have had some squatters in this area, or you may have a lot of vacant homes. Because we know what people do in a lot of these homes that sit vacant, right?
Yes.
We know what the squatters are, right?
Yes.
And we do know that the squatters, once they're in that house, they feel like it's their house. We also know that once a homeless person gets into a property, they sometimes feel like it's theirs.
Because they have to spend it, yeah.
So that's just like, an animal. Sometimes they defend their territory. If you know that somebody is there, maybe just kind of go around the outside looking for little stuff. If you see the screen, maybe not fully placed into the window. I wouldn't suggest you go up there and push the screen back, because when you went to the house the last time, the screen was in place, right? If you see anything that looks out of order, which may give you the appearance that somebody may be inside of that residence, just don't even take the opportunity to go, or call 911 and let them know that you are a realtor. You are trying to show a property. However, the screen or the window may be broken or may be up, the screen may be missing, the door looked like it may have been pried in, the glass screen door may be open, anything that may have looked like somebody may have tampered it, or the alarm is going off, okay? Any questions about that so far? You guys are quite rude.
They're just started.
All right, so the one thing that I wrote down that was very interesting that the commentator said on that video is that 80% of the crimes go unreported. That is true. And that, I guess he was just saying that just for realtors. That's just as in a whole. A lot of crimes go unreported. Why? a lot of people just don't want to be bothered with us. You guys think sometimes we're popular people, but we're not. Clarity has really decreased the last couple of years. So we're not as popular as we used to be when I first started this job, when everybody was like, thank you for your service. Oh, we love you so much. I'm like, "Oh, police." And you guys will be surprised sometimes when they do see something or we do get a call, a lot of people don't even want us pulling up to their houses. Well, I want to report a crime, but can you pull down the street?
Wow.
I want your car, I want my neighbors to see your police car in front of our house. You know, because God forbid if they need the police. But if you guys do see a crime, feel a crime, or know that want to report a crime, that's the only way we're gonna know what's going on is that you call and let us know. If you want to keep your information anonymous, the sheriff's office, you can tell them that. You can tell them that, and that way that will go to a different recording because all 911 calls are public record. You guys know that, right?
Right.
So if you do want information recorded and wanted it documented, dial 911. If it's a situation where you're trying to report something that you may have some type of knowledge of someone who broke into a house, committed a crime or whatever, but you just don't want your name attached to it, let the sheriff's office know when you report that call report it, and they'll switch you over to the crime line. Crime line, that's the agency that we have coupled ourselves with to make sure that crimes are reported and that the caller and the reporter stays anonymous, because a lot of times that people don't want to get involved because nobody wants to go to court anymore, right? Nobody don't want that subpoena.
So,
Yeah.
speaking of phone calls,
Mhm.
obviously, if there's something that's alarming, call 911.
Absolutely.
But if it's like, hey, I'm having an open house, like you said, in like a kind of sketchy area or a really remote area, what number do we call? Is there like a
There
non-emergency?
is a non-emergency number, but you know what? I don't even tell people to bother with that number because if it's an emergency or a non-emergency, let the dispatcher make that determination.
Okay.
Because a lot of times, if I give you the number, which is 836 help, are you gonna remember that?
No.
When you need to call the police? And then that may sometimes determine whether or not you call or not. Well, I don't know if it's an emergency. I know they have a non-emergency number. I don't even remember the number. I'm not gonna even call. Dial 911, let the operator know that you have a non-emergency call, and they can just transfer you over to the non-emergency number. But don't you sit there and try to figure out what's an emergency and what's non-emergency. Because what may be a non-emergency to you may be an emergency to us. When you see somebody calling, well, I see, because people call and say, well, I see a guy coming out of a window, look like he's struggling with a TV. Is that an emergency? He's wearing hoodies and have on some gloves, but it doesn't look funny to me. So, you know, yeah. So, you know, what's not an emergency definitely is an emergency to us. So let the dispatcher determine whether or not it is an emergency. But for your records, the non-emergency number is 836 help. But who's gonna remember 836? Right? So, anybody else have any questions about anything? Because I kind of ran through my list really quick, and I do have some, I left some time for concerns and for questions to talk about stuff that I want to get into what your concerns are.
Well, I was just, I'm sorry. I was just thinking when you were talking about for them, because I don't take people to houses, but how to graciously get out of it if you're that uncomfortable, you know, and I don't know if this would work for you guys, but I know I've been at a house before and my realtor had a problem with her ELB, the lockbox, and nothing she could do about it. But it was like, I'm thinking to myself, that might be a great way for you to save face with maybe a good customer and just say, you know what, my lockbox isn't working today. I don't know why. Can we reschedule? Let me call the MLS, or I don't know. I'm just trying to think of ways you guys can be true to yourselves, not go into a house, but yet not, because it might be fine. It might be a fine customer, but it might not.
Can I tag on to that?
Yeah.
And just say just one word, just 2 words, be prepared. Just say
Have something
just
in your
be
head.
prepared. You know, because that is a good point that the young man made here. It could be tampered with. But does it have a plan? Have a plan. Because if the criminal has a plan, shouldn't you have one?
Yeah,
You should have one.
these three.
And the one thing that I would encourage you all not to do is get complacent. Get complacent when it comes to routines. That's what get people in trouble. Well, I always walk this way. I always talk this way. I always do things A, B, C, and it has to be done A, B, C. Sometimes you can get too complacent and get caught up in your habits that won't see what's happening on this side or what is right here. Yes, ma'am.
So we have, and I'm going to share it with everybody, and I want everybody to download it. Through the Florida Realtors Association, we give an app called Safe Showings.
Okay.
And it is exactly what you're saying. It's the plan. You put your contacts in there.
Yep.
You set a time that you're going to be showing. If you don't contact him, it will let them know where you are. It has GPS. It's a great.
Love it.
The question is, though, can it be used by the police? Will they look at it? You know, is it something that can be used, for example, let's say you take pictures of the person, you can actually take their picture. Can it be used if you need to go to court? Like, is it something that's admissible? You know, if you needed
I
to.
think so.
Okay,
I would think so.
because you could snap a picture of the person, you know, when you first see them, and it's in the app, and it will send off the emergency information where they're at. It'll even record the sounds of what's happening at
That
the
way,
time.
because we use Ring.
Okay,
So a lot of times when we use the Ring cameras and the Ring videos to help us with certain type of crimes that are occurring as well. So that sounds very similar to that, a recording device. But I think that is awesome. If that's something that your office is.
yeah, we're all better be using it, yes, but the Florida Realtors Association actually provides it free to all the agents.
Right.
Never
So-
heard of it.
So you're gonna download it today. That's part of our training.
So what does it do? What does it do?
I have it right here. It actually, you put your contacts in there, you set the timer. If you're in trouble, it'll actually start recording it. You have your GPS tracker on there, and that way you can even record where you are, the
And it's
sound
on
of
your
it.
phone.
It's on your phone. It's an app. Mhm.
You have to
It's
check
called
the app
Safe
often after
Showings.
it'll sit in the-
Yeah, it was created by felt uncomfortable about obviously all these things that were happening. I have it right here. We're all
Very
gonna,
good.
at the end of the meeting, download it and use it. The other thing I wanted to know if you're familiar with, it's called an app called Forewarn,
Yeah.
where you can look up and do background checks actually
With phone numbers.
Well, yeah.
with their
With their
phone
phone
number.
number.
No, that's not free. You gotta pay for that one, but it's worth paying for. That one's not
My
free.
sister's MLS, they provide that to her.
Oh,
you know,
really?
The really good thing nowadays, there's an app for everything. right?
Yeah, yeah. Right.
There's an app for everything. There's an app for me standing here, right?
Yeah. Better to have you in person, deputy, but.
Downloaded the app and had a deputy, you know, give the presentation or something, but there are apps for almost everything nowadays, which is really, really good. And just kind of find out the ones that you feel comfortable with. The bottom line is, I just would love for you guys to be able to do your job and be happy about what you do and loving what you do and still be safe. Because we all want to go home.
Yeah.
You guys want to sell a home and go home, right? And and we want to protect the citizens here of Orange County. So we all have the same thing in common. So all I say is just practice good practices. Don't get complacent. If you know, and now that time has changed, I know a lot of people want to schedule night visits. Time changes now at 6 o'clock. It's almost pitch dark by 6:15. So you know, if they can't work with your schedule, then if they want to see that home bad enough, they will. You still have some daylight hours on a Saturday and a Sunday, right? They can take a couple of hours or so off of work a little bit early, but at 6 and 7 o'clock, when it's night, no, I don't think I would do that one. I would kind of be a little bit apprehensive unless you really, really know that potential buyer, sorry. All right, does anybody else have any questions? Come on, guys, I'm ready.
If you don't, I have plenty if you guys don't.
I'm ready, yes, sir.
And let's
I'm
say
warmed
everything,
up now.
let's just say everything goes sideways, you find yourself, you actually have to put down the whatever sorry.
You can go ahead.
Yeah.
Sorry,
You gotta get down, you ready.
if you have to do that, what should the language be like whenever you're speaking to 911? Hey, you just shot somebody or somebody.
geez.
Conversation. I think this is not realtor.
You have to, and somebody, you know, they're threatening, and you feel threatened, they're coming at you, and you know, they're threatening you. I mean, we're laughing and joking about it, but it will happen to somebody. It's gonna be a very small
How would you-
percentage. The language that you need to communicate and where do you need to
My
position
name
yourself?
is so and so and so. I am a realtor. This is where I'm located. You're gonna give that address. I was here meeting with the client. It went from 0 to 100. He became aggressive. I am a licensed carrier and I had to protect myself. And I have someone that's been shot.
Gotcha.
But you wanna say all the relevant things, let me tell you what the relevant things were that was
That's what I
found
was gonna
really big
ask.
important. You may not want to report it, but I was fearful for my life. I am a realtor. Whoever was the first initiated, which I'm assuming is going to be the potential, so, but you're just not gonna go there.
Shoot me,
Yeah,
yeah, you try
right.
to sell a house.
So, but you have to make sure that you have your bases covered and that that was the last, absolutely last resort. Other than you saying, okay, this showing is over, we're leaving. So if the situation did not allow you to get to that point where you felt like there was an opportunity for you to terminate that visit and for you to say, let's just reschedule, then if he become physical, you were fearful for your life.
Right.
Those are the most relevant words I can ever say in this meeting. Fearful for my life. That means it was either against them or you. Those were the only two options. Those were the only two options. Well, but this is why I don't say,
It's your life. You gotta go home.
yeah, you do gotta go home, but if you're going into the situation feeling that way.
You shouldn't have
don't do
gone
it.
in. No.
Don't do it if you're going in feeling that way, or take, I'm sorry, your name?
Tony.
Take Tony with you.
He's gonna take the unsub down.
Don't go anywhere. So you said you have goosebumps right here. Take Tony with you.
Okay, I'm gonna turn this conversation in a little different
lighter,
direction.
okay.
But I want to ask, Debbie, is there anything we can do from the realtor side to protect our customers' security? For example, we had a situation where we're representing the seller and it was actually under contract. I'm going to say it was about $950, for example. And the title company received monies for about $275, where actually someone else listed the home and actually somebody else was buying. So yeah, completely wrong. We actually told the FBI about it. It was an actual, I mean, obviously someone tried to steal the person's property.
Right.
So is there anything from your side that we could have been maybe more proactive to help try to protect that person's property and be more aware of what was happening when that they were trying to steal the person's property? I mean, luckily we were aware, we stopped it. But I mean, if we weren't, and what if
How
they
did
had
you
used
become
another?
aware?
Because when the money came to our title company, the title company said, we just received $275,000 for this land that we had already had under contract from another party.
That's above my pay grade.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a little bit out of my league when it comes to that, because there's so much technical stuff in between. And
Yeah,
I'm not privy to real estate, how the ins and outs, how the money flows with the title company and all of
but
that.
anything with cybersecurity or anything we could do to protect, the customer's privacy
And
or.
we have, if you want to do another spin-off or another edition, maybe another month or so, with maybe contact our fraud division. 'Cause the
Oh,
sheriff's
that
office
would be
do have our
great.
economics. They do handle real estate fraud, because we know
Oh
that
my
is
goodness,
like
yes.
huge. So I'll give you that contact.
That would be
information.
so
Yeah,
great. We
and
would
you can
love that.
Follow up with that. That way you can have someone that works in that field that knows exactly. I'm just a street deputy. I just know.
Well, we have to of everything, right? Protect us personally, and we really appreciate that. But we also
So-
want to be protective of that because that is becoming very prevalent.
It is, and I just went to a training with another meeting, and the economics deputies, detectives were there, and they were speaking on that particular topic, and I didn't listen as closely.
Well, I mean, it just became so true to us when it happened just
Yeah.
3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
I mean, you hear about it all the time, but when it actually happens on one of your sellers, you pay attention.
Well, I do know what happened, like during COVID, everybody that was home, what happened is these con artists, they got really, really good.
Yeah,
If they wasn't good already,
they got
they
better.
got even better at their craft. during COVID. So they had so much time to stay at home and to know how to go in and create all these different frauds, create all these passwords, how to get through the system, how to, steal a house, steal a property. They just got better at what they were doing because of all the time they had on their hands. So they are out there now, and they're out there in Grove. They had training classes. They got really good at it because, we're hearing more and more of these fraudulent buys with real estate. So, and that was another group that we went to, and they just wanted to know some crime prevention stuff. Is how I ended up there. But with the economic detective, they were the ones who were telling them about the fraud.
Yeah.
And how to, prevent that and report it as well.
Yeah, and exactly. We didn't even know who to report it to exactly.
Yeah.
So that would be great if we could do that. Thank you.
They even have a division, they even have guns and badges too.
Who was that?
Financial regulation.
Mm.
Yeah, they got badges too.
Yeah, all scary. Well, we cannot thank you enough. Anybody else have some questions for the deputy? So
Well, thank you guys for inviting me. I did like it a lot. Christmas time is here. I do like to kind of spread, couple things, just kind of where you are just your own safety and, not just work related, but take those Macy's bags. Don't leave the Macy's bags in the backseat of your cars. Put those bags in the trunk, put those Louis Vuitton purses in the trunk.
Yeah.
Because they will crack your window, they will break your window and take your personal belongings, and they will go Christmas shopping in your car.
Yeah.
So a lot of times we like to get out, to get that message out that I know it's Christmas time. We got all this hustle and bustle going on. We're leaving all those nice packages in the back seat or in the front seat of the car. Take that stuff in places, and it's happening.
and like your Amazon packages that come during the day.
I always tell communities to utilize those Amazon lock boxes. So they have them everywhere now. They have them at Home Depot, they got them at Lowe's, they got them at the 7-Eleven, they have them at Ross, they have them everywhere. But I know, nothing thrills us more than to go out on the porch and see that package out there. That just does it for me. But I hope you guys have a great holiday. So happy Thanksgiving and Merry Christmas to everybody.
Thank you so much. We appreciate you.
No, I'm just really person.
Well, you're welcome to stay and join us for soon, but thank you so much. Thank you. Well, guys, I want to share just a couple more things. Was she not amazing? She's fabulous. Everybody get your phones out. And I just realized my phone is in my office. And so I hope nobody's been trying to call me because that hasn't happened. But you want to go and you want to go to Florida Realtors, okay? Let me current slide. Would you grab it? It's on my desk, I think. I think that's where it is. And it's called Safe Showing. So go to Florida Realtors, Safe Showings. Just look for it.
Under your app?
Yeah, in the app.
Well, no, you have to go to Florida Realtors, so you have to download it from there. Thank you.
Oh.
So go to Florida Realtors first. Okay. And then let me show you what the video is. First, let's take a little quick peek of the video, and this is going to tell you what it does. Or is it?
You can't just go right to the App Store, it's on the app.
Yeah.
It is, but you need the code.
There's two on the app.
You need the free code. You can download it in the App Store, but you're going to need the code. Here it's going to play what the video is. So let's do this.
By downloading the Safe Showings app, you're proactively preparing to take advantage of more secure client contact when conducting open houses and showing appointments. Start by entering the emergency contacts of your choice, like friends, your broker, or family members.
No.
It's an easy one-step process. The app features an easy-to-adjust timer feature that will alert your emergency contacts if you've not responded during the time frame it's set.
Just like
When
he was
showing
saying.
properties, the app will track your exact location via the GPS feature. You can autofill your appointments information right from the contacts in your phone. You can see that the app provides significant safety at this point, but there's more. When first meeting with the appointment, use your phone to snap a photo of the client. Research demonstrates that this approach is the best way to deter criminal behavior. Now your contacts will be notified if you don't check in based on the timing and identifying information based on the photo from your showing. All of these features give you accountability for safely doing business during your showings and open houses. Following each showing, the app gives you the opportunity to make a record of the appointment. The app provides free form notes that the app will store for you. By the way, the Safe Showings app saves all the information from each showing so that you can go back and review your opportunities for sales. The open house feature provides the same great security options. Always be sure to get the facial image for all contacts during open houses.
Which is cool. with
There is
this
a
app.
handy 5-star rating system for your showing contacts. This, along with your notes, can alert you and others of potential problems from a suspicious person or from any previous showing.
We don't talk about what happens if you're in trouble here, but
Excuse me.
Uh-huh.
But what happens if they don't want to be taking a picture?
Right.
you gotta ask
What-
why.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't have to
I
take
don't
their
wanna take
picture.
a picture.
You can say like, but the thing is, anybody who's showing a house,
I don't look good.
you either have their pre-approval
No.
or their proof of funds,
I
right?
actually do, I'm sure too. What's that?
If you're showing someone a house, you either have the pre-approval or the proof of funds. You can say, well, if you don't want me to take a picture, no problem. Let me just have your license. I need it anyway. And you take a picture of their license.
Of their license, exactly.
If they won't give you their license, don't show them the property.
Right. I always ask for that. and they-
Right, exactly. If they're not showing you their license, then there's something wrong, right? There's something going on here.
Which is
So-
weird, because I would totally give you my picture before I gave you my information on my.
Where do we go
Exactly.
once we're on the phone?
So you go here, then it goes to safeshowings.com/Florida Realtors,
Oh.
and you want to hit register. When you do that, it's going to send you a code for you to use when you download the app, so that it's free. Otherwise, you have to pay.
So you go to,
Got it?
you go to safeshowing.com/Florida Realtors?
Yes.
Okay.
Carrie, I have a question.
Hit me, Beverly.
I'm in the car. I'm on my way, so don't judge me. What about those quote unquote out of town buyers that don't have a vehicle and they want you to pick them up and show them around?
I hate them already. You can always blame it on me. I would love to pick you up. Unfortunately, it's against my broker's policies. They won't let me put people in the car.
Okay.
Yeah, blame it on me.
Okay.
I mean, it's against my morality. I mean, it's really your call. I just really hate to have buyers in your car. Listen, if it's a family, even worse, but you could just say you can't fit them in your car. You don't have car seats or whatever. But the truth is, it's totally unsafe. What if you got in an accident or something? It's totally your fault. You know what I mean? It's a liability. They should have to follow you. You're not their chauffeur. They should not think that they come into town and you should be able to drive them around. That's not your job. Anybody disagree with me?
I do not.
Got it.
At all.
I think definitely.
You lost a client like that? Good riddance.
Well, since COVID also, that's a good reason not to be sharing a car. seat.
Yeah.
You said, I'm sorry, you're looking for a chauffeur and an Uber.
Is what they said.
You say, I'm sorry, were you looking for a realtor or a chauffeur? Because I'm not both.
If they're qualified. you
What
can-
is- I got a referral.
You can buy them, you can buy them.
Take it to Montgomery. And then take it back to her airport to the hotel. And I'm like, well, it's thing to do. And she goes, that's like on a Sunday. She's like, well, the realtor I'm meeting on Monday is going to do it. I'm like,
Well, then you can meet them on Sunday too.
I'm like, what? Why did not?
Unbelievable. Okay, did everybody get this? Everybody download it? And then what happens is as soon as you do and you register, you want to start making sure that you start your emergency contacts and you start utilizing all of the features that this has. This was created by a realtor, by the way. Yeah, and it is paid for you. That's why you have to do it this way by Florida Realtors.
I've tried several times.
Well, I just did it, and I'm not even a realtor, so.
And it
should
worked for you?
Yeah. I
Yeah,
don't need it, because I don't.
yeah.
But it went on, and it didn't.
I don't know why ours didn't work.
There's two, if you went to the, if you gotta do the app, so there's two, one that says safe showing, and it says safe showing enterprise. So one you gotta pay for, one you don't.
Which one? You're downloading the one that looks like that though, right?
Yeah.
I don't know why yours is not working. Is anyone else having problems?
I tried the other
I
day.
have the one that I already did. I
Yeah.
gonna delete.
Yeah,
Yeah, and
it
then-
works.
That is the one though.
It's the enterprise one that it.
That
sends
is
you a
the
link to download.
Yeah, but it's not through the,
Oh, you have to do through
Yeah,
Florida Realtors,
yes.
yeah.
then that's for the realtors, but they say it's a problem. I needed to delete the other one.
Okay, and then redo it. Yeah,
We
it looks
put
like
you
that.
as one of
Safe.
our-
Yeah,
One of
was the
our
same thing,
emergency contacts.
but
She said.
That's a no.
Well, I say no because Elsie,
Unofficial.
Elsie put me down and one day it was I kept getting contacted and contact. I'm like, Elsie, what is going on? Are you okay? She's like, yeah, sorry, my thing, you are in contact and it's just something's wrong. I'm like, it went on for 3 days. So she's ruined it for all of you. I don't mind knowing that you're not okay.
I would
But-
say if
But
somebody
it's
needs
set
one,
up.
you can set it up on that day, like. good.
Yeah, if you need me on
You
that
can
day,
always
for
call
sure.
her, but it's
But please
like,
don't be
hey,
doing that. Like if I start getting 150 of these, I'm gonna like want to kill myself. So, or you. And that's not good. And this is the forewarn right here.
So it should be like your spouse or your.
Well, anybody.
But if
you
you
know,
need someone to
you know.
call.
It could
one
be
of
another
us, we
realtor.
should help
It
each other.
could be me. It's just that I just don't want it to be like everybody's putting me down and I'm getting like these messages all the time. I will unsubscribe.
Well, I would say that if you know somebody who's a realtor that lives in that same spot, because one time I was doing an open house and I knew another realtor in that neighborhood.
Isn't that work?
And so there was some people that kind of were freaking me out. So I went outside and I called the other realtor that I.
See,
knew
that's
lived there.
perfect. That's exactly
So,
right.
yeah.
And I really think, guys, we need to think about this. Forewarn is really great too. It's right here. And you can verify who they are. You can see, it's very funny. Tasha had someone trying to put in an offer on, it was several $1 million property. And she used Forewarn and found out they lived in a trailer. So what are the chances are that they really had that kind of capital? Not good. And she found out that they had bankruptcies and they had, yeah. You don't want to be wasting your time getting the seller all excited about offers that are coming in that are bogus.
That was like my offer on the Enclave house.
Exactly.
He was paying cash.
This is a site, it's called Forewarn, and you pay, I don't think you pay monthly, I think you pay per, I think so, I don't recall. Tasha, you guys see Tasha today, she uses it.
Imagine the betting.
I'm using
tax
it.
game.
And so when
Did you
when I
use
took
that?
them off, I traced my research.
See, next time use more. Less research for you. But yeah, could you imagine the people that were putting offers in on that baby? Sure, I want to buy Shaq's house. Uh-huh, I bet you do. Mhm. Yeah. And I can sell you a couple other things too. Exactly, Benjamin. So this is a really good site as well. But I just wanted you guys to have some tools and resources at your fingertips. They always have at these realtor events, all sorts of things for safety. Like I said, they had jewelry that had, did you see that, Noah, the safety one? They had the jewelry that had the spray, oh yeah, those are some pretty cool things.
What, like a pin and just.
Yeah. Mhm. I actually almost
Like the
bought
old
for my
clown thing.
agents back when I had my international brokerage, because we saw a lot of international people that are the real people, are they not the real people? They look like cell phones, but they were tasers.
Also too, ladies, if you are an iPhone user, and you get an alert that says that there's an AirTag that is traveling with you or whatever, definitely you can pull over and have the cops come, and they will come and they'll get that AirTag, because that's just somebody that might be walking by, you just throw an AirTag in your shopping bag and it's gonna follow you home.
Oh my God, that's so
It
scary.
is scary, but that's, I know two people personally that had one, somebody took some duct tape and just walked by, just like boom, stuck it up underneath her tire wheel. Another lady, she just had one in her purse.
So will your phone automatically tell you?
Your phone will.
Yeah, it'll pick it up.
But there's an air tag nearby you. It's not registered to your account.
Yeah, I picked him up before, but you know, it wasn't because it was just wherever we were. It wasn't like it followed me, but
I mean, if you're at a convention, you're probably gonna happen, but if you're just out shopping, running errands and that happens, it's 10-15 minutes out of your day as opposed to something that could
That's
potentially be
freaky.
terrible. So just do it.
I have an air tag on my dog in case she leaves and runs. I can know where she is. Yeah, I air tagged her. And it's really fun to see her freak out when you play it. She's like, who is that?
How does she attach it to the collar?
That's better.
Oh, it has a little thing and it goes around the collar.
They probably make colors now.
They do,
Whatever.
that's all.
It goes on to the collar. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
really cool.
I think an air tag pile or whatever.
Yeah, it's really cool. So I hope you all got something. I'm going to stop my share here from today's Realtor Safety. I'm so glad. Look at so many of you were here. Thank you all for coming. I think the deputy was amazing. And I'm going to take a picture of everybody who came. And I really appreciate y'all for coming. If I can get everybody. I don't know that I can.
You want me to do it?
I'm going to come in.
Panorama.
Okay. But I hope you all are at least can stay for our wonderful Thanksgiving feast. That would be great. But I'm going to go ahead and stop my thing. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. I hope to see many of you later on today. Not very late, actually, in about an